educate and inform the whole mass of the people. They are the only sure reliance for the preservation of our liberty. There is nothing more unequal than the equal treatment of an equal people. If a nation expects to be ignorant and free in a state of civilization, it expects what never was and never will be. To penetrate and dissipate these clouds of darkness, the general mind must be strengthened by education. Enlighten the people generally, and tyranny and oppressions of body and mind will vanish like evil spirits at the dawn of day. Bigotry is the disease of ignorance, of morbid minds. Enthusiasm of the free and buoyant education and free discussion are the antidotes of both. Errors of opinion may be tolerated where reason is left free to combat it. All the states but our own are sensible that knowledge is power. People generally have more feeling for canals and roads than education. However, I hope we can advance them with equal pace. The only foundation for useful education in a republic is delayed in religion. The qualifications for self-government in society are not innate, they are the result of habit and long training. But of all the views of this law universal, education none is more important, none more legitimate than that of rendering the people the safe, as they are the ultimate guardians of their own liberty. Every government degenerates when trusted to the rulers of the people alone. The people themselves, therefore, are its only safe depositories, and to render them safe, their minds must be improved to a certain degree. There are two subjects, indeed, which I shall claim a right to further as long as I breathe: the public education and the subdivision of counties into wards. I consider the continuance of republican government as absolutely hanging on these two hooks, a system of general instruction which shall reach every description of our citizens, from the richest to the poorest. As it was the earliest, so will it be the latest of all the public concerns in which I shall permit myself to take an interest. If the children are untaught, their ignorance and vices will in future life cost us much dearer in their consequences than it would have done in their correction by a good education. The truth is that they want of common education with us is not from our poverty, but from the want of an orderly system. More money is now paid for the education of a part than would be paid for that of the whole if systematically arranged. Students of reading, writing, and common arithmetic, Grecian Greek, Roman, English, and American history should be rendered worthy to receive and able to guard the sacred deposit of the rights and liberties of their fellow citizens. The objects of this primary education would be to form the statesmen, legislators, and judges on whom public prosperity and individual happiness are so much to depend. Above all things, I hope the education of the common people will be attended to convince that on their good sense we may rely with most security for the preservation of a due degree of liberty. No one more sincerely wishes the spread of information among mankind than I do, and none has greater confidence in its effect toward supporting free and good government. I cannot live without books. Wherever the people are well informed, they can be trusted with their own government. I know of no safe depository of the ultimate powers of the society but the people themselves, and if we think them not enlightened enough to exercise their control with a wholesome discretion, the remedy is not to take it from them but to inform their discretion by education. This is the true corrective of abuses of constitutional power. Convinced that the people are the only safe depositories of their own liberty, and that they are not safe unless enlightened to a certain degree, I have looked on our present state of liberty as a short-lived possession unless the mass of the people could be informed to a certain degree. To instruct the mass of our citizens in these their rights, interests, and duties as men and citizens, this brings us to the point at which are to commence the higher branches of education, to develop the reasoning faculties of our youth, enlarge their minds, cultivate their morals, and instill into them the precepts of virtue and order. Education is here placed among the articles of public care. Not that it would be proposed to take its ordinary branches out of the hands of private enterprise, which manages so much better all the concerns to which it is equal, but a public institution can alone supply those sciences which, though rarely called for, are yet necessary to complete the circle, all the parts of which contribute to the improvement of the country, and some of them to its preservation.